Welcome back to Tanla Creek Farm. Today we're talking about what I feed my goats and why. So if you're new to the channel, we started a small goat farm on about just 4 acres of land in North Carolina, and I've been documenting the journey every step of the way. I have a lot of videos on what we've spent so far, their shelters, and I'm uploading more stuff every single day, pretty much. So please subscribe and hit the bell so that you guys don't miss anything and you can follow along on the journey. At the end of the video, you'll know what my goats absolutely do not go without, what I let them eat, treats that I give them, medicated goat feed and my thoughts on that. And yeah, so let's get started. So if I feed my goats nothing else, I feed them this. This is their hay feeder, and this is just normal like grass hay. It's not anything fancy. I pay about $5 a bale for this. I actually get it from a local Christmas tree farm, so shout out to Dobie or Dobby's Christmas tree farm. It's around the Cameron, North Carolina area, and I just go there with my little Ford Maverick pickup truck and I pick up 5 bales at a time, and it lasts us about 2.5 weeks or so. So it's not bad. Oh, and by the way, I'm feeding 4 adult does and 1 kid off of this hay. My goats do a lot of landscaping for me, and they love to jump up on their hind legs and eat these little leaves. I'll see if we can get a video of one of them doing it. Of course, they're not going to do it when I'm filming for YouTube, but so yeah, we have different sections that we fence off with our Starkline electric netting. And so we can control their access to greenery. We can make sure that they're getting hay first thing in the morning to kind of get their digestive system balanced, and then they can get on to the super green stuff in the woods as they start to mow more of this down. And they work really fast. Like, let me show you. All of this stuff out here, I'm telling you all this, you could not see through it. And now you can see my fencing on the other side, but you could not see through any of this when they showed up. And they actually showed up in the late winter, early spring. And you can see they've just done a tremendous job. I could barely walk through that. Just on the other side of this fencing, all this area back here, and it goes all the way around and it connects over there. But you couldn't even hardly walk through it, and now they've just done such a great job. They eat a lot of foresty, woody, viney, brambly goodness. And it's good because, you know, you save a little bit on hay costs or feed costs if you're using your land to feed your animals. So I'm a huge proponent of having my goats in the woods. If we ever converted this area to pasture, we would get another animal like sheep or cattle that would do a little bit better on just like a grassy field, because goats like to eat at eye level, so they do really good work in the woods. This is the Do More sweet feed. This works for all sorts of livestock, but this one has a goat on the front, and they absolutely go crazy for this stuff. You can see they're just swarming me. It's a feeding frenzy. So we're gonna give them some because I don't like to tease them. Ladies, excuse me. Okay, while they nosh on that and fight over it, we'll talk about some of the other things. So that's obviously a treat, that stuff. If I need to get them onto the goat stand to trim their hooves, or if I need to, they get out and I need to bring them back, I use that stuff as a treat. And I would not recommend putting out grain for goats if you want them to landscape, because they will start to get a little bit picky. So like I said, I keep a bag of it on hand just as a treat. And 2 things that I leave out for them all the time, which you probably have heard of, is baking soda and these loose goat minerals. Goats don't do as well with the mineral blocks because their tongues are not coarse like a cow's. So they'll lick it, but they won't get much out of it. I mean, you could put a mineral block out as like enrichment, like give them something to do. If you want to make sure they're actually getting the minerals that they need in their diet, I would definitely recommend putting out the loose minerals. And then I got this medicated goat feed. It's supposed to be a dewormer. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not confident that this stuff works all that well. I'm not sure that you can really know how much of a dose that they're getting. They're going insane. I don't know. You don't know when you put this out like how much they're actually eating, whereas if you give them a drench with the dewormer, you know exactly what they're getting because you administered a particular dose. So you cannot control dosage with this. It's a nice to have, like if you want a little bag of treats. This isn't a bad thing to get because worst case scenario, it works. You know, you're not planning for it to work, but maybe it does. And then, you know, you've gotten a little bit of deworming benefits out of it, but mostly this is just a treat because they don't get it all the time. So when I pull this bag out, they're pretty excited about it. So in summary, what I feed my goats, I spend $25 every, we'll call it 2 weeks to get hay. The forest is free. So basically to feed 5 goats, 4 adults and 1 baby, I spend $50 a month. And everything else is just like a treat and a nice to have. Goats survive in the wild without baking soda, but if you want to reduce your death loss, you should definitely put baking soda out because it's great for their digestion. And minerals, same thing. You produce healthier goats, which means they're more disease and parasite resistant. So if you can afford it, which you probably can if you bought goats, put it out. You know, but goats don't cost that much to feed, especially if you're making use of your land. So let me know if you feed your goats something different or if my numbers were just way off or you have a way cheaper way of feeding goats. Love to hear it. And let me know if this video was helpful to you. I hope it was. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell, and we'll see you on the next one.